The kindly Dr. Duvalier, who cured so many sick people, wins a landslide victory.
He made it a fight of black versus mulatto. A country where 90% of the people are black, PAPADOC was a shoe-in.
I have been elected for president for life. It is the iron will of the Haitian people.
I had no idea that there was two sides to this man. I mean, he really fooled us all.
It's the beginning of decades of dictatorship for Haiti. PAPADOC is a name that will forever bring Haitians nightmares.
Allô, oui, bonsoir. I'm the Mademoiselle, and this is my second channel. Jodi nous allons parler de PAPADOC. Okay, this is a video you guys have been requesting for months, and I finally decided to do it. So here is part one. PAPADOC. François PAPADOC Duvalier was born in 1907. He reigned in Haiti from 1957 to 1971. Please keep in mind that there's a lot to unpack. I'm going to get through as much as I can, but I'm going to leave all my references down below because there's a lot going on with this, okay? So a few key things to note here. Duvalier definitely was a president, but more so a dictator. I hate to say it, but that's really what he was. And depending on who you ask, most people will have a negative thing to say about him. They will not really say anything positive. I have come across a minuscule amount of people who actually have had something good to say about him. But PAPADOC is mainly known for his infamous, brutal, and corrupt rule on Haiti. Because, you know, in 1964, his administration actually changed the constitution, naming him president for life. So, I mean, if that's not a dictator, I don't know what is. Now, Haiti already had problems, okay? But it was kind of getting better to an extent. When Duvalier came, forget about it. Forget about it. I feel like Haiti is still recouping from the mess this man done left, okay? Actually, as soon as he became president, Haiti fell apart to the fact that people literally exiled, moved to different countries, disappeared, died, murdered, slaughtered, all types of stuff happened, okay? As soon as he became president, a lot of people fled the country because they thought this man was literally out of his mind. They didn't trust him. They were afraid for their lives. And I mean, honestly, they had every reason to do so because everything I'm about to say in this video is probably going to blow your mind. So buckle up, get your snack, get your food, get ready, let's go. Let's rewind. Duvalier was a small man. He enjoyed his little suits or whatever. He liked his little top hats, his starch collar shirts, and he always had his thick little glasses on. He never really smiled, and he always talked really slow. Except when he was like addressing multitudes and getting upset and like being mad about people blatantly not supporting him. Oh, also I forgot to add, in 1934 he actually graduated from med school and went on to work in a lot of hospitals in Haiti. And even though he is, you know, the rich, wealthy dictator we all know today, he was actually born in poverty in Port-au-Prince in 1907. His father's name was Duvalier, and his mom's name was Yvana Abraham. I hope I'm saying that right. His mom worked at a bakery while his dad was like a sometimes teacher. Now, PAPADOC was very politically active from a young age. Like, he just always took an interest in politics. For one, he wrote articles for the Nationalist and anti-American occupation newspaper called Action Nationale. Now, around this time when he was writing, I believe this is when America had its annoying, destructive, ridiculous state in Haiti to restore order when really they were stealing Haiti's resources. But we'll do a whole video of what America has done to Haiti another time, because that's a lot, but I digress. But I mean, this man is just very interesting. Even though he opposed the United States occupancies in Haiti, he went on to join one of their campaigns against malaria, and y'all, yeah, they were US sponsored and he didn't like US. He also also co-founded the journal Le Rio, which promoted negritude, which is a form of black nationalism. And of course, as you can imagine, this rhetoric promoted the idea of black minorities against the European elite. Well, in this case, urbanized mixed race elite, because that's mainly what the elite are in Haiti. I don't even think there's any like white elites in Haiti. It's mainly light-skinned mixed elites. Follow me here because that's very, very important. He basically used his ideas of negritude to win people over. Well, the little bit of people that he had that actually cared, actually liked him. I'll get into that. So Duvalier wrote a book, right? And in this book called, this is a long title. This is a long, I need to read it, okay? Les problèmes des classes à travail, l'histoire de Haïti. Hope I said that right. I think I did a good job, right? I don't know. In this book, he pushed the idea that black people should basically take the places of the elite mixed people in the country. They should basically, in his words, overthrow the elite mulatto hegemony, whatever. Y'all know what that word means. Y'all smart. And he was in heavy support of the administration before him, which was Dumasse Estumé, his government. In fact, he actually served in his office. He was Minister of Public Health and Labor, and this was his first government role. And this was his first government role in Haiti. But if you're not aware of how the whole Estumé thing worked out, ooh, child, a violent coup d'etat came, and Estimate is no more. And Duvalier went into hiding, okay? He was not having that, he was scared. Now, this coup elevated a new president who was Colonel Paul Malgras. I don't believe he lasted that long, but I mean, Haiti's presidents are just dictators. Whatever y'all want to call them, are just interesting. So while Duvalier was in hiding, it is said that this is when he conjured up all his support. So he was in the mountains talking to people, basically pushing his ideologies on them, you know, like the negritude situation, how blacks need to rise up and take over the country and the mixed people should not be running the country and all this extra stuff, okay? And it is also believed, depending on who you ask, that he used the forces of voodoo to help him become president. So by 1956, the Haitians were definitely fed up with Malgras. I don't know why I can't say that right. God, but I go to college. My own masters and I can't say certain words right. Why they send me to school? So all of these riots forced Malgras to resign, and that left space for Duvalier. He now presented himself as the heir to Estumé's administration, okay? And his reformist government. He basically used the ideology of pro-blackness and negritude to get supporters on his side, along with the influence of most likely voodoo, intimidation, and God knows what else, in order to get people to vote for him. Of course, by 1957, he won the election. And depending on who you ask, he probably rigged those votes. A lot of people were like, how did this man win? I ain't vote for him. Did you vote for him? Did you vote for him? How he went? So a lot of people were basically like speculating, like, saying it right here. How did he just come out of nowhere and he's president? Like, how is this even possible? And Duvalier didn't like that too much. He did not like criticism. He did not like opposition of any kind. And anyone who opposed him, even just a little bit, was hurt. I mean, murdered, kidnapped, tortured, exiled, whichever one they felt like doing that day. What did Duvalier decide to do? Oh, he decides to create his own military and give them the power, the authority to do whatever the hell he says. Literally replace the police and the military with his own police authority type of force. A lot of you guys may know this police force as Tonton Macoute or Tonton Macoute, but the full name of them is actually, let me read this, y'all. Milice Volontaire de la Sécurité Nationale. Why? Just so damn complicated. Like I said, you guys may know as Tonton Macoute, which in Creole means the boogeyman. This man really named his damn police force the boogeyman, so you know it's serious, okay? It's serious. Like, I'm not even joking. It was serious. So Duvalier enlisted the help of Clement Barbot to basically help him round up his new soldiers, okay? And they were pretty cool. But that didn't last too long, and I'm definitely going to get into that. So they went out sourcing the best of the best for this Tonton Macoute, and they went straight to work. Within literally a couple of months of Duvalier being in office, at least 300 people died at the hands of these Macoute on Duvalier's personal orders. Now, just in case you're not aware, the Tonton Macoute had authority to do anything. Intimidate, extort, murder, name it, they can do it. They literally would go around shoving this president down everyone's throats, okay? They would literally be like, you can't say nothing bad about the president, you can't be opposing of the president. It was really wild. Like, Haiti was very scary because you were not able to have any opinion that opposed the current government without possibly being killed, your family being killed, or being forced into exile. But I mean, see, Haitian people are very, very determined. And I mean, if in 1804 we can overthrow all of these forces, even though it took us a minute, they still gonna try. So of course in 1958, Duvalier did have a coup, but he actually successfully overthrew the coup with the Tonton Macoute. They did their job and they kept him safe. Later on, not too long after that, he ended up having a heart attack. In 1958, there was another coup. In 1959, he suffered a heart attack, and this made him fall really ill. And of course, when you have a coup, you have a heart attack. Yeah, those are not good mixed together. So he started to develop an obscene amount of paranoia to the point where he was guarded. Kind of had every right to be paranoid. Haiti has a history of running its leaders out of office. Whether they're good people, bad people, but I mean, let's be real here, Haiti does not have a good track record with presidents. Like, none of them have been like spectacular people. And the Haitians, I guess, can sense this. And let's be real here, a lot of Haitians just genuinely, in Haiti anyhow, from what I understand and from what I see, are not used to certain people telling them what to do, okay? Haiti is a country where they basically do everything on their own. Everything is on their own accord. They don't do well with people telling them what to do. Shit, I'm Haitian and I can say I don't do well with people telling me what to do. This is why YouTube is my full-time job, because I can do what the fuck I want when I want to do it and how I want to do it. I mean, I've been a good employee, but I don't like it. I'm unhappy when I'm doing it. Shit, I'd be riding too. For Duvalier, he was basically afraid that one day a military force would come and force him out of office just like all of the other presidents, because that's usually what happened. I mean, like, Duvalier's regime lasted longer than any other Haitian president, if we can even call it that, in history. 36 of the presidents that preceded him ended in a coup. Literally in a coup. They were literally either killed or overthrown. 23 of them were either killed or overthrown. Listen, I would be paranoid too. Listen, he had a 600-man palace guard, bro. He had 350 soldiers of the Dessalines barracks, bruh, adjacent to the Gleaming Palace. 5,000 militia. Y'all, if this ain't paranoid, I don't know what is. And this is in conjunction to the Tonton Macoute. So, 600-man palace guard, 350 soldiers of the Dessalines barracks, and then 5,000 militiamen on top of that. Tonton Macoute. Something's telling me that this man needed more of a therapist than some damn guards. I'm just saying. Now you guys are probably wondering what the Tonton Macoute looked like. So they were not that hard to spot. They always wear their little sunglasses, guns in hand or whatever. And actually went on to murder thousands of Haitians. Like, thousands upon thousands upon thousands. If you are a Haitian person watching this, if you have parents that probably won't curse you out, be upset, have a mental breakdown, ask them about how Duvalier affected them. I guarantee you it's probably not going to be a positive story, because they literally have affected probably every Haitian family. Now, of course, because of the Tonton Macoute, people are in turn definitely afraid of Duvalier. They were afraid to speak up about him. They were afraid to define him in any way. And even though he was Catholic, yes, he was a God-fearing Catholic man and practicing Catholic. A lot of people, like I said in the beginning, do believe that he divulged in the Voodoo religion. Now, the thing is, with the Voodoo religion, you can be Catholic or whatever it is that you are and practice the Voodoo religion. You can do them in conjunction. However, a lot of people believe that you should only do one, whatever the case may be. It's up to your interpretation. But at the end of the day, they are both religions. And they believe that he used the power of Ogons and Bogos in order to sustain power over the country and sustain power over people who opposed him. Actually, you know what's funnier? This man actually was later excommunicated from the Catholic Church. Yes, if you guys do not know what excommunication is, it's basically being kicked out of the Catholic Church, like the Catholic religion as a whole. You cannot go to church, practice the religion no more. Like, it's basically like being shunned. I mean, they'll still talk to you, but it's like, I can't go to church, can't do nothing, can't divulge in none of that shit, they don't care. And yeah, this man still insisted on going to church. Guarded, like literally, he brought like mad Tonton Macoute with him to church, took communion and all. So people wouldn't say nothing to him, wouldn't bother him. He was like, y'all can't tell me shit, I'm still gonna go to church even though y'all kicked me out. Like, this man was ruthless. He even went as far as to like make a children's prayer. Like an Our Father, yeah, the Catholics watching this, like a Our Father who art in heaven, holy be thy name. He made a children's version of this to be recited in school. Listen, this man got some problems. He really do. I really think he needed to go see a therapist because certain things that he did just, there was no cause for it. I think he was just on a serious power trip. Probably some type of mental disorder because this is so extra. So this is the prayer, okay? Our dark, who art in the national palace for life, hallowed be thy name. By present and future generations, thy will be done at Port-au-Prince and in the provinces. Give us this day our new Haiti, and never forgive the trespasses of the anti-patriots who spit every day on our country. Let them succumb to temptation, and under the weight of their venom, deliver them not from any evil. You know what? I can't. He created a Lord's Prayer and put himself in the Lord's Prayer to make these kids learn it in school. Who does this? So moving along, Duvalier eventually got pretty sick. And when he was sick, he actually appointed Clement Barbot. Y'all remember him? He appointed him to basically take care of things while he was gone, make sure everything was in order. However, when he came back, he accused him of basically being against him and accused him of putting a plan together to basically overthrow him. What's really interesting is that's messed up because Vava was out here probably just as bad as him. He even earned the nickname the Muffler. Okay, that's how good he was out as taking out these enemies or whatever. So it's like, for him to come out like, oh, well, you're against me, ooh, child. Vava wasn't happy, especially because Duvalier sent his ass to jail for 16 months, okay? Haiti jail ain't pretty. You don't even want to be in there for 16 minutes. So Vava sits in jail for 16 months. Eventually he is released and he comes up with this master plan. And this master plan entails kidnapping his 2 children with them only being released if he resigns as president and exiles himself. Let's be real, do y'all really think that ended well? What's really interesting is when his kids got snatched up or the attempted snatch happened, Duvalier actually accused the Dominicans of doing this. Now, this is another little piece of history as to why Dominicans and Haitians don't get along. I think I'm gonna have to do a whole video on that. I was trying to find one of my friends to do the video with me, but I guess I'm just gonna have to do it like as a history video. Duvalier accused the Dominicans of taking his kids or trying to take his kids, etc. And the Dominicans were outraged. And the only reason he tried to say that about them is because the Dominicans were actually taking Haitians in who were afraid and fleeing and seeking refuge from Haiti. So I guess he's seeing it as, oh, so you're taking my enemies in and you're trying to steal my kids too. And the Dominicans was like, what are you talking about? Like, ain't nobody do shit. Duvalier ends up setting a whole bunch of Macoute over there to attack them. The Dominicans sent people to attack us. It became a whole bloody mess. That's all I gotta say, a whole bloody mess. But let's go back to Babot. So Babot orders this kidnapping, and on the kids' way to school, their limousine is shot up. So the children's 2 bodyguards and chauffeur was killed. The kids were unharmed, they were fine. But I mean, physically fine. Can you imagine how traumatic that is for children? Like, you're literally in the car on the way to school. And they get shot up. That's terrifying. Like, even though they weren't physically harmed, I'm sure they're psychologically deterred from that. I would love to see what those kids grew up to be, how they feel about what their dad did, and I would love to know. But anyhow, Duvalier was pissed, okay? His revenge was swift. Not too long after this happened, he literally launched an entire investigation to find out who did this. Within 24 hours of this happening, at least 6 people were killed because they were thought to be in connection to this incident. More than 100 people were arrested. And some people were just never seen again, disappeared. It is said that they were murdered or possibly, you know, secretly exiled. So eventually they realized that Baba is behind all of this, and now the search and the hunt is on for Baba. So eventually they come across this house and they shoot it the hell up, and this is where they think that Baba is hiding at. This was the house that he was said to hide like his weaponry and all of this extra stuff. So they shoot the house up. Anyone that was in there most likely died, and a dog comes barking out, and you know, it's a black dog, and of course they kill the dog. At this point, you know, Haitians in their voodoo beliefs, they believe that this was actually Baba in the form of a dog, and you know, he was a loup-garou of some sort, and he turned himself into a dog. Of course, this ended up being a thing where all black dogs in Haiti were ordered to be shot. Yes, he ordered all black dogs in Haiti to be shot because he thought that Baba could turn into a black dog, and he's just roaming around hiding. So all black dogs must be shot. This is not the first or the last time this man has done some crazy things in the name of not understanding what's going on or just to show his power. There was actually a captain named Luchal Filonet. I could never say these names. He was one of those army officer, and he used to go around gloating and boasting about how he can avoid death and he will never die. In order to shut him up and teach him a lesson, Duvalier had the Tonton Macoute kill him, cut his head off, and bring his head to the palace. There was another time where 6 teenagers spray painted on a wall saying "Down with Duvalier," and these kids were actually prosecuted and executed for this act. Just in case you thought that this was just, you know, the civilians and just the people of Haiti being massacred and feeling the wrath of Duvalier's reign, oh no, this man has no limits. His daughter, Marie-Denise, actually fell in love and she wanted to be married. And the person she wanted to be married to was actually a black man. His name was Lieutenant Colmax Dominique. Now, you guys are probably wondering, like, who cares if he's black? Everyone in Haiti's black, and isn't this man pro-black? Well, you see, Duvalier actually married a mixed woman and wanted his kids to do the same, apparently, because he was not having it. He did not want his daughter marrying a black man at all. He was quite upset. So of course in 1967 they got married anyway, and in Duvalier's rage basically wanted them out of his face because they defied his orders. So basically he ordered them to move to Spain. Oh, but no, it doesn't end there. PAPADOC literally got about what, 19-20 of their army officer friends, accused them of trying to overthrow his government, and of course executed them in cold blood. And yeah, they were killed by fire squad. Yeah, ain't nobody was safe. But I mean, by 1970, you know, they were back in his good graces, and he ended up appointing them to France this time, where he actually gave Dominique ambassador to France and made his daughter Marie-Denise his secretary. To be honest, I would not be dealing with him after that shit. Like, you literally killed my friends because I married the love of my life. You killed my husband's friends because he married me. What kind of caca is this? Exile. I would have went somewhere, like, I don't know. Maybe this family is on some other shit, because I never heard anything like this. This is different. So not only was Duvalier creating problems with the country, his family, and basically anyone who opposed him, he was definitely having problem with the other countries around as well. Now, Haiti had developed a lot of allies, especially after Haiti's revolution in 1804. United States, Cuba, Poland, But the thing is, as soon as Duvalier came into office, he literally fucked up, okay? Not only was he opposing of everyone else criticizing him, but he wasn't liking the foreigners criticizing him either. He did not like criticism from anyone, and anytime someone said anything to him, he was not having it. He was super upset and super offended by it. Duvalier even called himself the personification of Haiti, of the Haitian fatherland. Okay, that's his words, personification of the Haitian fatherland. And everything that he was doing actually really disturbed the United States. And at the time, John F. Kennedy was president, and his administration was very, very concerned about him and all the caca he was doing, as well as the well-being of the Haitians. This is especially because the United States would actually send Haiti a lot of money at this time, like millions of dollars. And there was rumors going around that Duvalier was misusing the funds, not giving it to the people. And honestly, it had to be true, because at the time of his reign, people died bad in Haiti. Like, people die all the time in Haiti, but this was like bad. From all his time of reign, literally. Not even from Tonton Macoute killings or anything like that, about 400,000 plus people died of just malnutrition. Also remember that I said that a lot of the elites left as soon as he became elected. I'm talking doctors, lawyers, nurses, anything that could have been of social help to these people left. So now they ain't got no food. When they get sick, they can't go to no doctors because there's barely any left. And then when they get thrown in jail for some shit they didn't do, there's no lawyers to help them get out. Like, it was a really, really, really bad situation. And everyone around the world can see it. And people were trying to help, trying to send money, trying to come in, trying to actually like see what was going on. But he definitely was not having it. So mid-1962, the United States actually suspended aid to Haiti, and Duvalier was very, very upset. He was not having it. The US was like, alright, we need to know how you're handling these funds. We want to know the rundown, okay? They wanted more strict accounting procedures, and he did not want to comply with this. So, claiming to be motivated by nationalism, Duvalier declined this aid, okay? Money that Haiti could have got to feed its citizens, to fix its country, to boost its tourism, to do whatever the case may be. He denied because he did not want to tell anyone what he was doing with these funds. That was a lot of Haiti's national budget. Now, even though the money really wasn't going to the citizens in the first place, like, no one in Haiti was ever really going to see this money, let's be real here. It didn't have much of an effect on them, but the fact that America and all these other countries were giving Haiti all this money, and they were basically seeing it in their damn palace and nowhere else, people got real upset about this. But I mean, after Kennedy was assassinated in 1963, the pressure eased, and I believe he was still getting some funding, but it was cut drastically. And of course, he didn't do anything substantial with the money anyway, let's be real here. And America wanted to be allies with Haiti because Haiti was closest to the communist country of Cuba, which they wanted access to that. That's a whole nother story. Y'all could look into that. So yeah, then we had the whole Dominican beef that I basically said earlier. That became an issue, and honestly, he had his own problems with all these other countries and all these other people. It's really sad. Money was basically going for him, his whole Duvalierville nonsense. He was building like a monument, and that's where all the money was going, and he placed heavy, serious tax on all goods in order to build it, especially since the US wasn't funding his caca no more. Apparently, Haiti still was acquiring funds from the US. I believe it was 15 million, now it was cut down to like 1. And this money was supposed to be used to fight the malaria outbreak that was going on at the time. Duvalier did not like the fact that they basically drastically cut how much they were giving. So what does Duvalier do? Oh no, he goes to call America anti-Negro, basically saying they are racist. And I mean, he wasn't wrong, because this is like the 1960s we're talking about. Like, wasn't this like segregation era? Still, it's just ridiculous. They were giving out all this damn money, and now y'all want to talk about you anti-Negro? Come on, bro. Ridiculous. Eventually, PAPADOC does die in about 1971, and on his deathbed, he appoints his son, Baby Doc, to be president, Jean-Claude Duvalier. Now, what's really interesting about this is he was only 19. And we all know that's not how presidency works. So, according to the original constitution of Haiti, you have to be at least 40 years old to run for president. But of course, Duvalier set that to be changed so his son can take over the country and have his reign in Haiti. Now, what's really interesting about this is there's no real positives to it. Now, as a journalist, I've always been taught to see both sides of every story. A lot of times when you guys watch my videos, I'm able to give two perspectives so I can always see both sides of a point. But in this situation, yeah, I'm not really able to see any good in this, and as a journalist, I'm sorry, and I really hate that I can't see any bright side about this. But I mean, there are some people who will say that, you know, Duvalier restored order and he really made the country a lot safer because, you know, he had this militia and he was able to put people in their place. But it's just like, yikes, but all these people had to die, hundreds of thousands of people had to die. Like, I don't know if that's really what you can call good or successful or effective. But I mean, hey, comment down below if you have any family members that were affected by Duvalier, because it's very interesting, because the only people I know who have been able to, I guess, reap any benefits from him would be the elite. Okay, the elites of Haiti actually were on his side because, let's be real here, everything that he did basically helped them. They were the only people that benefited from them. And that's probably the only reason they let PAPADOC become president after he died, because, oh no, their elite lifestyle cannot be complete without the Duvalier regime. Okay, they need the Tonton Macoute, okay, to intimidate people. They need these crazy ass taxes. They need all it, like, you know, it's sad to think about, but that's really what happened. Man, listen, I tried to find good shit about this man. I couldn't find out a damn thing. That was very, very hard. And everyone I asked basically said the same thing, with the exception of the couple few that was like, well, I mean, I feel like he restored order. People just didn't like him because he was outspoken and da da da. It really depends on who you ask. To be quite honest with you, there's way more bad than good, and if you have that much bad said about you, there's definitely something wrong. But comment down below. We're definitely going to be doing Baby Doc really soon. It's not going to be the next video. It's going to take another long time because this video was already pretty long. I haven't really looked into Baby Doc at all. PAPADOC is probably the main one I knew about. I didn't know too much about Baby Doc. I'm sure it might be longer, probably just as long, who knows. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Smash that subscribe button, smash that like button, smash every button you know that can help a sister out. If you're not already subscribed, make sure you guys check out the merchandise down in the description or in the pinned comment down below. Let me know what you think about this video, and I'm gonna see y'all next time.